Tonight, diners flock to pubs and restaurants as the Premier hints at easing more restrictions. A young man set upon by a group of thugs in a violent attack. Road blitz, dozens of motorists nabbed driving under the influence. Incredible survival stories as a Pakistan plane crash kills at least 90 people. And a Saturday night showdown blockbuster on the cards for the season relaunch.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Jessica Adamson.
Good evening. With no new COVID-19 cases again today, the Premier's given the strongest indication yet our pubs and restaurants will soon be able to host a lot more people than first thought. It comes after a last-minute backflip which allowed pubs to open their doors 2 weeks early last night.
While smaller eateries have welcomed entertaining up to 10 diners inside along with 10 out,
people took to it straight away.
For many hotels, yesterday afternoon's green light came far too late.
Finding out that information sort of second-hand on the day, not really enough time to prepare.
We're taking all of these next few days to make plans to reopen for next Friday night.
The Stag won't reopen to diners till more patrons are allowed inside in 2 weeks.
We want to wait until we can do so in a way that's going to represent our brand the right way.
But last night the Gilbert Street Hotel scrambled to welcome back its regulars.
It's sort of good to have people in more than anything, sort of thing, just sort of good for the mind, good for the soul.
And today, patrons were happy to wait for the limited number of tables.
It's just exactly what I need right now in life. It's good.
Today, the Premier gave the best indication yet that Stage 2 restrictions will be eased beyond expectation on June 5. He's flagged allowing hotels like this one to utilise multiple rooms. So if the cap is up to 20 diners, it could potentially host 100.
I think you can probably get from the way that I'm indicating that, look, we are very open to anything we can do to make it more profitable for businesses to get up and running.
The opposition says any new rules need to be made crystal clear to avoid a repeat of yesterday's confusion.
Stephen Marshall should do the right thing today, offer compensation to people who have genuinely lost financially out of the chaos of yesterday.
Premier says questions over what Stage 2 will hold will be answered when the blueprint's released on Monday. Andrea Nicholas, 7 News.
A young man has described a horrific attack at Paraka where he was bashed by 4 men who claimed they were going to kill him. He says they used a machete, golf club, a hammer and an axe to carry out the brutal vendetta on behalf of a scorned ex-girlfriend.
22-year-old Nick Babbick's lucky to be alive after suffering horrific head injuries last night.
Up to 30 stitches, like lacerations from the axe directly through, to the skull. It was only a few millimetres away from the skull.
He says 4 armed men came to his Paraka home and threatened him.
Well, you're that you're dead. Like, you're going to die tonight. Like, what's your problem? Like, drop the weapons. Can't we figure this out like men? Was my reaction, yeah.
Security cameras capture the brutal attack that went up and down the street.
Yeah, he's tried to stab me in the arm a few times. As he's doing that and defending it, one of the other ones that come up behind me with the golf bat and just smacked me as hard as he could in the back of the head till I dropped on the ground seeing stars.
But even while he was bleeding on the ground, they broke his arm.
I remember curling up as a ball, and I remember just feeling a flat bit of thing just snap. He just started hacking me with the machete in the back of the head.
He was also chopped in the back with a medieval axe. When police were called, the suspects fled in 2 cars. One of them was caught on camera hanging out the door of this Commodore that sped off. Tyson, who lives nearby, ran to the rescue with a baseball bat.
And mate Nick down the road just been jumped and stabbed, and he was just covered in blood.
Nicholas claims he'd never seen these men before and that his ex-girlfriend, who he split up with a year and a half ago, is behind the brutal attack. He says she's angry because he set up a new Facebook account she can't access.
And it's not the first time either. She's actually stabbed me before and stuff like that as well, so it's been a nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
A cold, wet and wanted driver has been arrested after becoming bogged while allegedly trying to hide from police. His muddy car was pulled from a boulevard ditch around 1 o'clock this morning. Council workers were called in to remove a frightened and feisty dog from the vehicle. The 31-year-old Port Adelaide man's facing breach of bail and traffic charges. Police have slammed the actions of 41 drivers caught behind the wheel with alcohol or drugs in their system. Let's go live to reporter Lauren Rose. And Lauren, these drivers were nabbed on the first day roadside RBTs returned.
That's right, Jess. RBTs are back after a 2-month hiatus, and to mark their return, police ran a 24-hour blitz that ended at 11:59 last night. They had sanitisation stations and used alcohol wipes to clean equipment between each driver. This was a statewide operation, and the highest reading came from Kangaroo Island, where a 30-year-old blew .205, more than 3 times the legal limit. He was one of 14 drivers to blow over, while 27 drivers were positive for drugs. That's more than 10% of those tested, a staggering number. Of the 41 drivers doing the wrong thing, 9 lost their licences on the spot, 6 had their cars impounded. Police say all of these people should be grateful they were stopped before they killed themselves or someone else. And just even though that blitz is over, RBTs are here to stay. They'll be back out tonight.
Thanks, Lauren. There's growing pressure on the federal government to expand the JobKeeper scheme to include more workers. Labor says the coalition has lost all credibility when it comes to economic management, following a $60 billion accounting bungle.
Hailing an epic budget blunder.
There's no doubt there's been a real big error here.
As a budget triumph.
In the end, what it means is our country is less indebted than it otherwise would be.
The government's saving $60 billion on its JobKeeper program after overestimating the take-up by 3 million workers.
It's about time this Prime Minister took responsibility for the errors that are there.
Still no word from Scott Morrison, now under pressure to spend the savings to help workers who missed out.
There's more than 2 million workers who haven't been covered by the scheme. The government's got no more excuses.
Like casuals who've been with their employer for less than a year, staff at universities and foreign-owned companies like in-flight catering service Donata.
Show a heart and give us an opportunity so that we can feed our families.
The government refusing to relent, but pressure to extend the wage subsidy stemming not only from its opponents, but one of its own. Tasmania's Liberal Premier Peter Gutwein claiming the 6-month scheme should be extended for a longer period, targeting additional support at those industries that will take longer to recover. Set to make his case at Friday's National Cabinet meeting, confident other states will follow. This bungle bringing further burden. Olivia Leeming, 7 News.
A shattered father's tonight trying to forgive himself after an unthinkable tragedy that claimed the life of his little boy. Doug Sproul was parking his truck in Sydney, unaware his 5-year-old son was standing behind.
At the family dinner table, despair. Doug Sproul, his daughter Claire and son Max sit together. In front of them, photos of their little Harry.
Very happy, a little mischievous. He was very outdoors, loved his horse. He loved his brothers and sister.
He also loved trucks.
He used to come with me a lot in the truck. He loved it. He loved it.
Harrison was growing up fast and he had a bright future ahead.
He started school this year. He loved going to school. He absolutely loved it.
He called a big school.
Just after 5 p.m. yesterday, Harrison was killed in an accident at the family trucking yard in Picton. The 5-year-old was pinned between 2 trucks. His father was behind the wheel of one of them.
Sorry, that's all I can say.
You don't have to be sorry, it was an accident.
I fix problems every day, but I couldn't fix this one.
It's horrific enough that Doug Sproul has lost his youngest child, but to add to Doug's pain, he blames himself for Harrison's death.
That's my job to protect him, and I failed on this one.
You didn't fail.
The Sproul family now facing a life without Harrison, but they draw strength from the incredible impact he made on them all in such a short time.
He will be sadly missed. He will be deeply sadly missed.
He just He was special. You don't find a kid like that.
Peter Fegan, 7 News.
The lawyer for a man who ploughed into 14 pedestrians in Sydney claims his client was unconscious at the time. But the magistrate says he's too much of a risk to be allowed on the road, with police now linking him to an earlier road rage incident. 51-year-old Sabri Nassar has been charged with inflicting actual bodily harm and was refused bail. 2 passengers are the only survivors from a deadly plane crash in Pakistan. Pilots made a desperate mayday call just seconds before the aircraft slammed into homes, killing at least 90 people.
Burning, smoke-filled chaos and giant pieces of an Airbus. In the moments after an A320 crashed into this crowded Pakistan alleyway, witnesses dwarfed by the smoke were certain there'd be no survivors from Flight 8303. Remarkably, they were wrong. Zafar Massoud, fire still raging behind him, somehow has just fractures and scratches. The local bank president was sitting in row 1. The second survivor, Mohammed Zubair, leapt from seat 8F just after impact. He says when the plane caught fire, he unfastened his seatbelt, saw light and jumped 3 metres to the ground. Then, in the chaos, this, a baby, alive, believed to have been pulled from the rubble of one of several collapsed homes. From the cockpit, the final exchange.
We have lost engines. Mayday, 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 Pakistan 8303.
Survivors say the plane with 99 people on board had already aborted one landing. A later flight coming in over the smoking ruins shows just how close they'd come to making it home. This man says he saw the plane's cockpit and the body of the pilot inside. Many of his passengers were headed for a celebration on the eve of the Muslim festival of Eid. Domestic flights had just resumed in the wake of the pandemic. Maintenance will be a focus of the investigation. So too the possibility of a bird strike, notorious at Karachi Airport. They're still searching for the black box. But in a crash of this magnitude, what they do have is almost unheard of. Survivors. Angela Cox, 7 News.
Britain has rejected Australia's request to be exempt from new quarantine rules, forcing visitors to the UK into 14 days of self-isolation. It won't kick in until the 8th of June, months after our borders were closed. The British government has faced criticism for not acting sooner. The country's death toll has now soared above 36,000. It's being taken by the US president and trialled as a coronavirus prevention here in Australia. But now a controversial medication's been linked to an increased risk of death in COVID patients. But Donald Trump had something else on his mind today, sending the faithful back to church.
Speaking directly to some of his most ardent supporters.
Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics as essential, but have left out churches and other houses of worship. It's not right.
Ordering states allow places of worship to reopen.
If they don't do it, I will override the governors. In America, we need more prayer, not less.
Honestly, that would be reckless. It's Friday. They're not ready.
Donald Trump not stopping for questions, leaving it to his press secretary to spar with reporters.
Boy, it's interesting to be in a room that desperately wants to seem to see these churches and houses of worship stay closed.
I object to that. I mean, I go to church. I'm dying to go back to church. The question that we're asking you and would like to have asked the President and Dr. Birx is it safe?
Washington, D.C. now has the highest rate of positive coronavirus cases in the country, followed by Baltimore, Chicago and Minneapolis. And the precautionary drug the president's taking to stay safe is tonight under more scrutiny after a sweeping study found hydroxychloroquine could be lethal in COVID patients. Findings published in a medical journal showed patients who took the anti-malarial drug were 34% more likely to die, 137% increased risk of heart arrhythmia. The US military confident America can deliver a vaccine this year.
I've spoken to our medical experts about this. We are completely confident that we can get this done.
In New York, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Energy bills for South Australians are set to drop with the first of 4 synchronous condensers on its way to the state's north. The mammoth piece of machinery, weighing more than 2 Boeing 737s, was transported under police escort to Davenport near Port Augusta this morning. The device will help secure the state's power supply and deliver households more reliable electricity.
The other benefit, again, for the synchronous condensers is that they will generate a cost saving to consumers of around $3 to $5 per annum once they are all operational.
The 400-kilometre journey was off to a rocky start this morning when the truck popped a tyre before leaving Port Adelaide. Star Geelong recruit Jack Stephen has been interviewed by police almost a week after turning up to hospital with stab wounds to his chest. Stephen's former partner has also been questioned. His coach, Chris Scott, previously cautioned fans against reading into Stephen's past mental health issues. The 30-year-old's expected to return to training next week. Ahead on 7 News, under pressure, the British PM's chief advisor breaks coronavirus rules. How Los Angeles police brought a chaotic chase to a dramatic end. The mysterious sight lighting up the night sky across southeast Australia. Queensland's Olympic bid on hold as the pandemic continues. And later, the unique way a local cheesemaker's stopping milk from going down the drain.
Getting my house renovated is like a golden ticket to the rest of your life. Oh, this is a house of our dreams.
Mum's Whole House Reveal. House Rules. Sunday at 7.
You bring the family, we'll fetch the entertainment. Get the things you love to watch with a Fetch Box. With one simple menu and one remote. You'll need your TV, antenna, broadband, and a Fetch Mini or Mighty Box. Enjoy free-to-air TV live or later, recorded up to 6 shows at once on a Mighty Box or via catch-up. Stream your Netflix, Stan, Amazon Prime Video and YouTube to your TV. Buy TV shows or movies on demand, thousands of them, with all the latest releases. Add $6 channel packs, kids, knowledge, vibe, variety, or get over 45 channels in the Ultimate Pack to watch at home or on the go. Get Fetch from our partners or buy a box to use with any internet provider. TV, streaming, channels and movies. All your entertainment in one place. Fetch, we bring it.
Meet Rego. He has a knack of popping up when you least expect him. Hello. 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 So when Rego pops up, choose QBE for CTP for your car and say hello to a $25 e-gift card. Go to qbeforctp.com.au. Ends August 31st. Terms apply.
For making sense of a changing world. For understanding what's next. For the edge you need. The Australian. For the informed Australian.
There are 2 ways to make a mattress. The cheap way, one piece, single-sided with attached pillow top made out of foam. Yes, Mr. Harvey, they should be 50% off. The best way, 2-piece, double-sided, removable pillow top with thousands of microcoils and a 5-year comfort promise. Sorry, Mr. Harvey, we make them, you don't.
The Bellissimo mattress, made like no other mattress. Making mattresses, nobody makes a better mattress. Nobody.
Absolutely everything's on sale at Freedom. Get up to 30% off all furniture like sofas, beds, tables, and up to 40% off all homewares like rugs, cushions, lighting, wall art, mirrors, stools. Hurry, absolutely everything on sale at Freedom is on now.
Hi, mate.
Hey, Dad.
How's the new place?
Yeah, it's really good.
What have you been up to?
Not much. No, I miss you guys. Can you believe it? I actually miss your cooking too.
I don't miss a thing. I got the new Woolies Rewards app.
Now you'll never miss an offer with everything in one place. Track your points, view your Woolworths e-receipts, and you can access your personalised offers so you save even more.
I do miss you, mate.
It's the brand new way to get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Have you found the one?
No, I found some losers on Match.com.
From the executive producer of Bridesmaids comes Stan's new series, Love Life.
I just want to be the kind of woman who knows what she wants and she's not afraid to go after it.
Starring Academy Award nominee Anna Kendrick.
Why do you need a boyfriend right now? This isn't Jane Austen times. Oh my God! I ran into Augie for the first time in 2 years. So wearing Crocs. Ew.
The brand new series, Love Life, premieres May 27, only on Stan.
The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's under pressure to sack his chief advisor, who's being investigated for breaking the government's coronavirus rules. Dominic Cummings drove across the country while infected to stay with his elderly parents.
For months, the slogan couldn't have been any clearer, emblazoned on buildings and bus stops, repeated constantly at daily media briefings.
We need everyone to stay at home.
We're instructing people to stay at home.
You must stay at home.
But the Prime Minister's chief advisor ignored his own memo. Dominic Cummings was the architect of Boris's Brexit strategy. He had coronavirus symptoms in the first week of lockdown, sick the same time as his boss. Downing Street said Cummings was self-isolating at his London home, but instead he drove more than 400 kilometres to his elderly parents' property with his wife and child. Neighbours called police.
And if it's true that Dominic Cummings has deliberately breached the guidelines, and he should know what they were, then I think it's a resigning matter.
He's not the first to flout the rules. Scotland's chief medical officer resigned in April after twice visiting her holiday home, and a top UK government advisor nicknamed Professor Lockdown quit after meeting with his married lover. Now the PM's right-hand man could join them.
I don't think he is secure in his position, however influential he is in this government. And let's be clear, he is the most influential person in this government, apart from the Prime Minister.
In London, Sarah Greenolch, 7 News.
Car rental giant Hertz has filed for bankruptcy protection in the US. The company says travel restrictions during the pandemic have caused a rapid, sudden and dramatic hit to its business. It's saddled with around $29 billion in debt but can continue operating. Hertz says business will continue as usual in Australia, while admitting revenue has been deeply impacted. And bandits in a stolen ute have led police on a wild chase through Los Angeles. The driver went the wrong way along a highway and collided with another car. He managed to dodge road spikes before becoming blocked in.
Well, look at those. Look at this. He's ramming that vehicle, going back and forth. Now he's going to escalate this, pick up some more speed, slam into this car.
Eventually, the robbers made a run for it. Both were caught within seconds. Well, stargazers in southeast Australia reach for their astronomy guides as a mysterious flying object lit up the night sky. Experts suspect it was space junk, or more specifically, a Russian rocket re-entering the Earth's atmosphere.
A blaze of fire in the night sky. So unusual, some witnesses feared an aeroplane had exploded.
It was just one round ball and it was like bright red and orange.
Others suspected it was a meteorite, but experts say it was travelling too slowly and the burning arc was too fast to be a comet.
What we actually saw was a late-stage rocket that put a Russian satellite into orbit.
A Russian military satellite which launched yesterday.
It may have been a satellite to be able to detect the launch of ballistic missiles on Earth.
The fiery space junk lit up the sky for around 40 seconds last night, spotted by lucky stargazers in Victoria, New South Wales, Canberra, South Australia and even Tasmania. Many witnesses reported hearing a sonic boom as the rocket re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, leading astronomers to believe it was travelling at Mach 1 speed, more than 1,200 kilometres an hour.
We would see something like that if we're fortunate enough to be outside looking up and the sky was clear, perhaps 2 or 3 times a year.
Great thing to be able to experience and watch.
Space junk rarely makes it to Earth, with only 2 injuries ever reported. Christy Mayer, 7 News.
Australia's most senior Olympic official remains confident Brisbane can be a successful bidder for the 2032 Games. The Queensland government has put its bid on hold as the country deals with the ongoing health crisis. Australian Olympic Committee President John Coates says it's the right call in the current climate.
As soon as the three levels of government say we're ready, then we'll increase the dialogue again. We'll resume the dialogue with the IOC and get cracking.
And the AOC boss remains confident the postponed Tokyo Games will go ahead next year. So we can only hope.
Yeah, at 2032, be still around to see that. That'd
Very
be fantastic.
exciting. Well, let's hope so. What's coming up in sport?
Just stick it in your diary. Saturday, June 13, showdown at the Adelaide Oval.
Yes.
Right, looks like it's full steam ahead for footy's reboot. And we're going to let you know about the big clashes for the round 2 restart coming up in sport. Also, World Sport has a new queen, well, in terms of money earners anyway, the Japanese tennis star who has hit the financial jackpot. She has earned an enormous amount of cash.
She has. Look forward to seeing it. Thanks, Soda. Still to come on 7 News, a teenager dies in a Gold Coast balcony tragedy. Raising money for the Salvos, how lockdown changed this year's Red Shield appeal. The potential Australian game changer in the fight against breast cancer. No crying over spilt milk, how a local cheesemaker is making the most of the pandemic. And later, it's the tourist attraction tens of millions of years in the making.
I'm your dad. Why'd you choose now to come and find me? You're just taking me for a ride.
When he finds out the true reason his dad's here, it could break his heart.
You need to tell him what's going on. If you don't tell him, I will.
Home and Away, next week on 7.
Right now, Fairmont are offering better value than ever. Build today and for no extra cost, receive 2.7 high ceilings, bathroom and kitchen upgrades, plus free air. So get more than you ever imagined. It's affordable at Fairmont.
Glorious beef eye fillets are now just $19.99 a kilo at Aldi. It's high-end steak without the high-end price. Oh, how dare you animals. Aldi, good, different.
South Australia, we should be proud of the way we've come together in the fight against COVID-19. From May 11, restrictions are being eased on regional travel and some outdoor activities and public gatherings, including sports training, auctions and worship. The current advice of no more than 1 person per 4 square metres and a maximum limit of 10 people still applies. To find out more, visit sa.gov.au today. Keeping SA safe and strong.
OK, Dan, you know the drill. No, we don't stop there, Dan. This is new Up and Go No Added Sugar. The goodness of original Up and Go, only now available with no added sugar. Now we're talking, Dan. Now we're talking. New Up and Go No Added Sugar. It's next level goodness.
Illusion is on fire! A warm home is a safe home! Support Australia's largest manufacturer of gas log fires, Illusion! Buy direct and save thousands! Heaters starting at $2,499! Don't be left out on the cold! 355 Main North Road, Enfield.
Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress taking Australia by storm. It's the next generation mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers, making history. Choices, best overall mattress, 2 years in a row. That's Sleeping Duck. One giant leap for your sleep.
Want to sell something for instant cash? We're open. Looking to buy from a huge range of quality second-hand goods for less? We're open. Cash Converters. Find us online or visit us in store.
Your next royal TV show obsession.
I'm married to an idiot. God himself spat me forth for greatness. Why does he make you a woman then? For comedy.
The brand new series, The Great, now streaming only on Stan.
A teenager has fallen to his death during a drug-fuelled party on the Gold Coast. The 19-year-old was found around 3 a.m. after falling from a 4th-floor unit. Inside, police found a group of teenagers aged between 16 and 19 barely conscious. It's understood they'd taken prescription drugs. 4 needed hospital treatment. This weekend is the Salvation Army annual Red Shield Appeal, usually the country's biggest door-knock fundraiser. But this year there's clearly had to be some changes, and now the Salvos have found a different way to rattle up donations.
I see the need every day.
But we're in it for the long haul.
For 55 years, the annual Red Shield Appeal has helped the Salvation Army help vulnerable Australians. But this weekend, they won't be knocking on your door or rattling tins.
It's all had to go digital.
For the first time, they're calling for donations via digital door knocking.
This year, there is an even greater need, as our country has faced two great crises simultaneously.
In addition to their bushfire relief fundraiser, in the past year the Salvos have cared for more than 1 million people, helped 46,000 homeless and supported 13,000 family violence victims. But COVID is expected to make this year the toughest in the Salvos' history.
This year's appeal will remind us that there are people that we are needing to help that we've never had to help before.
The Minderoo Foundation, run by Andrew and Nicola Forrest, is pledging $500,000 and matching public donations up to the same amount.
If you give $5, we'll make it $10. If you give $20, we'll make it $40.
The Salvation Army's fundraising approach may have changed, but their target for this weekend's appeal hasn't. They're hoping to raise $8 million over 2 days, $35 million by the end of June. And while they understand for many money is tight, they're asking the community to give what they can.
Even if that's a small amount or we have the capacity to give in a larger way, every little bit's going to make a difference.
Amber Laidler, 7 News.
A vaccine against breast cancer is being developed by a team of Australian researchers in what's being called a potential game changer. While the jab wouldn't stop someone developing the disease, it could prevent it returning by prompting the patient's immune system to recognise and kill cancer cells. It's hoped the breakthrough could eventually be used for other common cancers. Good news indeed. Now, recapping our top stories, the Premier's given the strongest indication yet. Our pubs and restaurants will be soon able to host a lot more people than first thought. A young man's been bashed by a group of 4 men who claimed they were going to kill him. And police have slammed the actions of 41 drivers caught behind the wheel with alcohol or drugs in their system. They were nabbed on the first day that Roadside RBTs returned. South Australia's cheese queen, Chris Lloyd, has used downtime during the COVID closures to come up with a unique way to stop excess milk going to waste. She's made a new treat that also has subtle hints of a South Aussie brew.
The dairy sector's among the many hit hard by the coronavirus crisis.
The dairy industry is still producing the same amount of milk, yet cafes and restaurants being forced to close their doors. There was a lot of excess milk going to waste.
With commercial customers drying up, suppliers have struggled to sell much of their produce. But despite a dire outlook, award-winning cheesemaker Chris Lloyd knew she had to do something to keep the line of production moving along.
I've got to keep going because the ripple effect is huge. My dairy farmers, for instance, obviously my staff.
She did what she does best, inventing a new cheese, aptly named Spilt Milk.
It repurposes milk that perhaps otherwise would have gone down the drain, and it repurposes a cider that is on tap, or there weren't any taps running here.
That cider's used to wash down the goat's milk cheese and comes from City Brewers Spark at the Whitmore.
We were very keen to look at our apple cider because apple and cheese are such a great food companions.
Chris, I guess the important thing is how it tastes.
Yeah, look, it's beautiful. It's herbaceous. It's got some beautiful caramel notes on the rind. And, you know, I guess, Tim, you'll tell me what you think, but I think it's very, very clean. It's one of those cheeses I think that you can eat a lot of.
Indeed, it's very Moorish. Chris says at this tricky time, the key to survival is adapting and working together.
Let's just not cry over spilt milk.
Tim Hatfield, 7 News.
Good advice. Time for sport now, and so to the showdown looks unlikely to get a prized Friday night time slot.
No, but Jess, it still looks like it's going to get a Saturday night time slot, which would be fantastic to restart the season. We're going to tell you coming up to the big clashes that should be coming up in June 11. They kick off on the Thursday. Now, also coming up, the former Red Star in limbo after the Scottish Championship was abandoned and his team was relegated. Plus, Naomi Osaka moves past Serena Williams to the top of the women's sport rich list.
For your official local source of COVID-19 information and the range of support services available, go to sa.gov.au.
Hello, Zoe. I have been watching you.
Here we go. I'm a mum of 2. If you haven't had things under your nail and wondered if it's Nutella or poo, then you're not a mum. I am a woodwork teacher.
I am Big Brother, and I have chosen you. You're used to taking charge, but in here, it's me who's in charge. Are you ready for what I have planned?
I'm about as subtle as a brick in the face.
I am Big Brother. Who wins? You decide.
Get warm and cosy with the Allington's new season winter range, showcasing the best in country clothing and western wear. Rug up in this season's latest styles from your favourite brands. Allington's, it's not just a look, it's a lifestyle. Shop in-store and online.
Hi everyone. It is so important that we keep active. I'm really trying to track my food. I've lost 2 kilos. Feeling good. Thanks, WW.
Join today and get 3 months free at www.com or download the app.
From May 11, COVID-19 restrictions are being eased on regional travel and some outdoor activities and public gatherings across the state. Current social distancing advice still applies. Visit sa.gov.au today, keeping SA safe and strong.
Jimmy's stores are open for business for the hottest deals on home entertainment. Like this Hisense 75-inch 4K Smart TV for $19.95. And stock up on movies and TV shows with buy one, get one free on Blu-ray and 4K. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JP, you've done it again.
One look at South Australia's CTP choices shows that SGIC wears the state colours on their sleeve. The wonders of data, eh? Choose SGIC, helping South Australians since 1972.
Harvey Norman has everything you need for your home. Come into our spacious stores and create an in-home cinema experience with the Whitehaven 3-seater fabric sofa, boasting powered reclining actions, a built-in e-station and storage console. Just $19.99. The Bradford offers sophisticated style with powered recliners, overhead reading and base lights and charging station. $21.99. Spruce up your dining with the Cobar 7-piece suite. Great value at just $9.99. Everything you need for your home in-store now at Harvey Norman.
More home loan brokers with more ways to help you, giving you even more reasons to smile wherever you are. Talk to me or your broker today.
When you reach for pork roast, who knows where you'll end up? Get some pork on your fork.
Hello again. Well, the AFL will release the first part of its revamped 2020 draw on Monday. 7 News understands the Round 2 showdown will be played on Saturday night at Adelaide Oval. Richmond v Collingwood will relaunch the season on June 11, followed by Hawthorn Geelong on the Friday night.
The showdown will have to wait another year to get a run in the prime Friday night slot. But for the players, the time slot isn't as important as the location.
Hopefully we do have a showdown in Adelaide. I think that's the traditional way it's happened. I think it'd be great for the state.
And Crouch is happy for an early showdown with no crowd instead of waiting until later in the season when fans might be allowed to attend.
For our fans, it'd be great if they could be there, but at the moment I think round 2 is the ideal one. If you played in Adelaide and the umpires could fly in and quarantine and get the game going ahead.
After a week back on the track, Port Adelaide's emerged injury-free, and defender Hamish Hartlett believes contact work won't cause any problems despite a long forced layoff.
You know, the guys all seem to have completed their programs really well, sort of running 3 times a week during that period, and now and it has made that sort of transition back into drills far easier, and everyone's in good condition.
Over in the West, the Eagles believe all their games in the Gold Coast hub should be considered away matches. West Coast has also applied for special AFL dispensation to travel with extra football staff.
We've applied for more than 25, given that we're travelling, and we may have a situation where we've got players back here that need attending to as well through rehab. So we've actually asked. We think that's thin.
Both WA clubs can also step up their training to include contact drills from Monday. Andrew Hayes, 7 News.
Former Port Adelaide midfielder Aidan Johnson has signed with Sturt for the upcoming season. The Sandful is still waiting for the government to make a call on when it can get going. But in Perth, the Waffle has announced it'll play a 9-round season starting on the first weekend of August and finishing the week before the AFL Grand Final. Well, the A-League faces another major hurdle to completing the season, with players reacting angrily to a planned 80% pay cut. Many contracts expire in just over a week as the FFA faces a logistical nightmare to resume. And the boss of the English Premier League denies they've put wealth before health by restarting training.
We wouldn't have taken the first step to go back to training if we weren't convinced that we had created a very safe environment for our players to go back to.
6 players and staff tested positive for coronavirus on Tuesday, but they're still confident of playing a game by mid-June. And the Premier League boss pointed to Germany's Bundesliga as proof it can be done. With fans restricted to restaurants, the Olympic Stadium was deserted for this morning's Berlin derby as Hertz thrashed FC Union 4-0.
Cunha gets it anyway! It's 4 goals in 4 games from Matthias Cunha.
Korea's K-League continues under strict conditions for players and mascots. Former Sydney FC star Brandon O'Neill started for the Pohang Steelers last night, but they lost 2-1 to Seoul at home. The Scottish Premiership season was abandoned during the week because of the coronavirus crisis. That's left former Adelaide United star Ben Garuccio in limbo, with his club Hertz relegated despite having 8 games left to play.
The sudden halt of the sporting world came at the worst possible time for Garuccio. After spending 2019 sidelined after a knee reconstruction, he was back on the pitch, but now finds himself stuck at home again.
I just got back. I was feeling good, I was feeling fit. And, I felt like I've done the last year training by myself. And now, here we are again.
Now things have gone from bad to worse for the 24-year-old, with the Scottish League called off and Garuccio's team Hertz relegated, with 8 games left to play. The club's considering legal action.
We always believed that we would get ourselves out of the situation, but now it's not to be. And then to be faced with, obviously, maybe a relegation, when these matters have obviously been taken out of our hands, it's not nice for anyone. I want to persist in Europe. I think that's something that was a goal of mine ever since I was a little kid. I really do want to stay overseas if I can.
And once a Red, always a Red. Garuccio hasn't let being on the other side of the world stop him from following the A-League.
I still keep in contact with a lot of the boys, so whenever the times match up, I think just even that buzz you get playing at Coop in front of your family and friends, it was just a different feeling to what I've ever had before, to be honest. I just felt like I was someone different when I was out on the pitch.
Lucas Ronaldo, 7 News.
One of Australian cricket's forgotten men is plotting his way back, but also planning for the future. Blues gun Curtis Patterson's 2 tests included a classic catch and an unbeaten ton in early 2019 before injury stalled his career last summer.
I think I'm good enough. I was lucky enough to score some runs early on, so I've been able to get over that mental barrier.
The 26-year-old is currently putting his time into study. Well, Serena Williams has lost her crown as the biggest earner in women's sport. 22-year-old Naomi Osaka raked in a lazy, what about this, $57 million in 2019, a new record for the highest earning year by any female athlete. Winning the 2019 Australian Open helped, but most of her money comes from 15 rich sponsorship deals. Osaka is ranked 29th overall in Forbes' list of the 100 richest sports people. Well, there was a delay on the opening day of the Brisbane Racing Carnival, with the course evacuated due to a bomb scare. Police ordered the race meeting to be halted, and when it resumed, the Chris Waller-trained Canaan was upstaged.
An 8-week makeover finally back to headquarters, but it wasn't the return nervous Queensland power brokers envisaged.
It has been eventful. We did have a police operation delay the races for close to an hour.
Still, the bomb scare couldn't shake strictly enforced biosecurity protocols, measures which have ensured the sport has proceeded across the mainland. There'll be only 2 Group 1s in this diluted carnival. Glamour 2-year-olds Rothfire and Isotope are leading contenders for one of them.
Rothfire in front, Isotope now starts to hit top gear. No, Rothfire going brilliantly.
I think he's beat a couple of pretty good horses there, so he stamps himself now as he's right up there.
In fact, the gelding's now favourite for the JJ Atkins. Doubtless Heathcote relieved this colt is staying in Sydney.
But Pelter protects his unbeaten record. That's 3 out of 3.
Trainer Gerald Ryan opting to target spring riches with Pelter. The picture is clear for Queensland's premier sprint, the Stradbroke, after today's Victory Stakes.
Victorium shot to the lead. Deep Image tries hard. kick it over flying. Victorum won the victory.
Jenny Graham's 5-year-old now a real scrub rope fancy in the Gunsynd Classic Punters Charge for Chris Waller's boom horse, Canane, but he finished third.
Supergiant in front, Ballistic Boy trying hard. Supergiant, Ballistic Boy, photo finish.
Supergiant got it, gifting jockey Alan Chow his biggest win.
Very tight at the end there. Now, finally tonight, no Crows Blues this weekend, as was scheduled, of course. Let's relive some of their memorable clashes from the past.
1991 and a mud wrestle turned into a rare early win for the Crows in Victoria. They edged out the Blues by 7 points at Princess Park. 2 years later, the clubs met in the finals. The Blues won a game that was dominated by Craig Bradley, who kicked 5 goals. But the match is best remembered for lanky ruckman Justin Madden's run and goal and Sean Wren's brave chase.
What a sprint! This is something to watch. Madden goes long for goal. He might have kicked it. Sensational!
And in 2001, Mark Rasciuto made his presence felt, dishing out brutal bumps and booting goals.
He's kicked 2 important goals today. Now he has got 3.
He finished with 4, including the sealer, in a rousing 9-point win.
Just got there. I love that vision of Sean Wren chasing Justin Madden. The two big boys going at it. Jess, great news too, of course, that Saturday night showdown, June 13.
Very exciting.
Love the fact you're wearing your Prison Bars jersey just to celebrate.
Sorry, Crows fans, I do wear what I'm told to wear.
Number 5 on the back too, celebrating the great Bruce Abernathy.
Brucey, my favourite player. Yeah, thanks. So to stay with us, still to come on 7 News. A step back in time, the colossal creation set to attract people to the Outback. The new trial to limit the impact of devastating bushfires on our farmers. And the countdown's on as Powderfinger prepare to reunite for one night only.
Hear that? It's the sound of your new escape. Visit the most relaxing new getaways.
It's beautiful.
Find the lifestyle you've always dreamt of.
I can see myself here at home.
Here's to you and your new life. New Escape to the Country. Tonight on 7/2.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
Illusion is on fire! A warm home is a safe home. Support Australia's largest manufacturer of gas log fires, Illusion. Buy direct and save thousands. Heaters starting at $2,499. Don't be left out on the cold. 355 Main North Road, Enfield.
Aussie macadamias. Not only are they a delicious snack, they even help put you in a good mood when someone's been driving you nuts. Warning, may contain traces of nuts and nut-based puns. Aussie fruit, veg and nuts. The good mood food.
You've got to be kidding me.
He's really
When help is far from reach, when hope is lost in an instant, a familiar face finds you, experience reassures you, and innovation carries you. They're yours. They're Australia's Royal Flying Doctor Service.
Alright Australia, so you need more energy and a better night's sleep. Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress taking Australia by storm. It's the next generation mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers to give you the best energy, health and sleep benefits possible, even making history by becoming the first mattress ever to win Choice's Best Overall Mattress 2 years in a row. It comes manufacturer direct, free of markup. And that means you can get incredible quality with incredible value. That's Sleeping Duck, one giant leap for your sleep.
Jimmy's doors are open for business with the hottest deals in home entertainment. Like this Hisense 75-inch 4K smart TV for $19.95. And stock up on movies and TV shows with buy one, get one free on Blu-ray and 4K. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
At 7 p.m, states at war over travel bans. The race for a vaccine sparks global tensions and the next wave of jobs that don't yet exist. That's the latest from 7 News at 7.
Tour guides have become tradies as an Outback Aussie dinosaur museum makes the most of the tourism downturn. They're putting the finishing touches on two colossal creations they hope will wow the world.
As dawn breaks over the land of the dinosaurs and the day's first light reaches the central west, work is already underway. David Elliott founded the Australian Age of Dinosaurs in 2009. This is stage 3.
It's going to look like this big meteorite and a big crater around it, and then we'll have all our big telescopes.
An observatory atop Australia's first dark sky sanctuary, one of only 10 in the world.
And the darker the sky, the brighter the stars.
And alongside it, an exhibition unlike any other.
Yeah, well, that's the March of Titanosaurs building. Inside is a dinosaur trackway.
Preserved sauropod footprints from the late Cretaceous period.
Back foot and the front foot.
Uncovered in a creek bed at Karula, 100 kilometres from here.
We knew it wasn't going to last any more than the first flood, so there's a bit of a rush to get the first bits out, which we did before those big floods last year. We beat it by a week.
Carefully removed and reconstructed over the past 2 years, an 80-metre long prehistoric jigsaw puzzle.
It's just amazing to see where this huge dinosaur has walked through.
To be guarded by two life-sized sauropods cast in bronze.
And that's something that will be recognised all over the world.
It was supposed to be finished in September.
Until COVID-19 turned up.
So, with no visitors, tour guides have become tradies.
I got them in there on jackhammers last week and shoveling and stuff like that. They love it.
It's hard to imagine what this all looked like 95 million years ago when dinosaurs roamed the region, but when this exhibition is finished, it will allow visitors from around the world to step back in time. It's hoped construction will be complete by April next year. And David's dream doesn't end there.
Eventually the new museum will be a little bit further back.
Leaving his own mark in the Australian outback. Mac Lyon, 7 News.
Local farmers are trialling a unique combination of fertiliser and fire retardant to try to limit the devastation of fires like the pinery blaze in 2015. The new approach to fire management was recently given a test run with mixed results at a property north of Adelaide.
The pinery fire of 2015 was proof of just how intensely stubble can burn, as these CFS crews know only too well.
Two people were killed, 70,000 head of stock were lost, and about 100 homes were destroyed during the devastating pinery bushfire.
Not surprisingly then, farmers from the area were keen to see a new approach to fire management.
Well, since 2015, we've been looking at flame retardants that could be used in a farming system to help mitigate things like the pinery fire.
At this trial site, 2 types of flame retardant, also doubling as crop fertiliser, were applied to this barley stubble weeks ago, before heavy rains fell.
Probably for the last 2 weeks, this block's had sort of that 80 to 90 mils.
Wow, so you know whether this retardant stays on?
Yeah, so we should know whether it sticks all right.
The lighter coloured patches of stubble have been treated with retardant fertiliser, but at first glance it appears it's no match for a gathering flame.
Libby, from a layman's perspective, it seems to have been a failure.
I don't necessarily agree that it's a failure. It's demonstrated the difference in intensity and it's shown quite clearly the different consumption rates. The fire has not consumed the treated plots as quickly.
Infrared drone images back that up. The lighter untreated areas show the fire at its most intense. The darker patches where retardant was applied have burned less fiercely. And this previous trial shows how a treated plot stood up to a less intense flame.
Here we've seen that it lowers the intensity of the fire and that might be sufficient to save some assets.
And perhaps lives, as researchers work to improve yet another weapon in the deadly battle against bushfire. Ron Candelars, 7 News.
Powderfinger fans are counting down the minutes and seconds to tonight's virtual reunion concert. It's the first time the band have performed together since their retirement a decade ago. The YouTube concert will support charities Beyond Blue and Support Act. Stay with us after the break. The former professional dancer keeping up her spirits while in isolation.
Wintry week, wasn't it? Don't expect summer, but I think we can do a little better this week. Details shortly.
Getting my house renovated is like a golden ticket to the rest of your life.
We're here.
We're here. Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Right.
Oh. This isn't our house.
Oh my God.
In the transformation of the year.
This is the house of our dreams.
Oh my God.
It's all for Mum.
Oh my goodness. It's so different.
I think this is probably the best bathroom we've seen on House Rules.
They will do their best reno yet.
There's so much to see. I can't take it all in.
It'll be the Hampton-style home of her dreams.
I love everything. Things I never thought I'd have. And I'll be forever grateful. I don't deserve this. This is just... It's too much for one person to have. Amazing, memorable. Wow, thank you. Just doesn't seem enough. A part of you will always be in the house with us forever.
Mum's dream home will be revealed on House Rules on 7. The unmissable whole house reveal, Sunday at 7.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up to a new service on the Optus $65 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. That's right. Sign up to a new service on the $65 per month 24-month Optus SIM-only plan and you'll receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends June 30. New services only, not available with other offers. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Today we'll be offering... They're gone. What do you mean they're gone? The snacks. They're gone. Missing. Well, they have to be here somewhere. They're not here. They can't just get up and walk away.
All right, only 13 more hours to go. You're gonna have to hold it.
Right now, it's time to stay home. But don't ever stop dreaming of your next adventure. Because even though we're home for now, it won't be forever.
Now I need to find an aged care worker, someone to pick up groceries, and a nurse to assist me with medication.
Mabel has over 10,000 independent care and support workers ready to help you. Find your people at mabel.com.au.
If you're experiencing abuse or domestic violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT for free, confidential advice and counselling, online and by phone 24/7. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
I had pain down my legs, in my heels. When I finally came across the arch supports at the Good Feet store, it's turned my life around.
See for yourself with a free personalised arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
At 7 p.m, states go to battle over border closures, the serial killer experts predicting pandemics and how coronavirus is affecting our dreams. The latest from 7 News next.
Get breaking news for Adelaide and South Australia on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For news as it happens, join 7 News Adelaide on social media.
Well, this next story should put a spring in your step. A former professional dancer in the UK is keeping her spirits up in isolation by dancing around her garden.
No people like your people, smile when they are wrong.
Babs Benson-Smith's about to turn 90, but instead of a party, she's hoping to perform at 90,000 steps before the big day to raise money for charity. On your Babs, to the weather now, and Tim Noonan, today was the best weather for outdoor dancing for some days.
Everyone's become a dancer behind closed doors, haven't they, Jess? There's sure to be some sassy moves to emerge in coming months. You'd think the easing of restrictions would have allowed a few to let loose overnight, but at least in the hills, thick fog allowed lockdown secrets to remain hidden. I know I'm not quite ready to share my moves yet. It's all changing so fast, isn't it? How about you? We look forward to seeing what you got. Send it in, please. Still below May averages in town, briefly dipped into single figures around dawn. The top 16.4, showers mostly cleared early. Now, the southerlies blew cloud cover in and the odd shower around the south of the state. We did get to 20 degrees up at Maree. Well done there, but it was a lone hand. So last week's series of fronts have moved on, but look at this squally, menacing stuff, if we can get it up there. See it down there, look at it coming at us there. Now that's, luckily it's going to mess up WA, but it's expected to slip south and terrorise anyone knocking around in the Southern Ocean. I would be careful down there. Mostly missing us, looks like it'll just clip us midweek. Now Perth and surrounds will cop it tomorrow, a big SES day there. There's a big low on the other side of the country too, lingering showers for most eastern capitals. Another cool day NSA, a chance of showers as those southerlies cross the coast. Oh dear, can't find your 20 degrees anywhere there, not even close. Got to get one of those rare inside seats at the local pub or cafe if you can. Cool southerlies on metro waters, up to 10 knots, seas below a metre. A cleansing shower or two in town in the morning, mainly in the hills and southern suburbs. Should all clear for the afternoon, but we can only spare 15 degrees, I'm sorry. Same Monday, but otherwise fine. Now the change now much later on Tuesday. Wednesday's wettest and windiest. I said that last week too, I'm sure. There's a couple of little gems looming though. Thursday afternoon and particularly Friday, sunny and 20 degrees. That could fill a few outdoor cafe tables. But who knows what the rules will be by next weekend when more showers arrive. Jess?
Who knows indeed. Thanks, Tim. And that's all the news for this Saturday. I'll have updates later this evening and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight, border battle.